Once upon a time in a lush green forest, there lived a little green frog named Enzo. Enzo wasn't always a frog, though. His story began in a quiet, hidden pond under the shade of tall, whispering trees. One sunny day, Mama Frog laid a cluster of tiny, jelly like eggs in the water. Each egg held the promise of new life. Among them was Enzo, who was just a speck of a tadpole waiting to grow. The pond was full of other creatures, but the eggs stayed safe, floating gently among the water plant. One sunny day, Mama Frog laid a cluster of tiny, jelly like eggs in the water. Each egg held the promise of new life. Among them was Enzo, who was just a speck of a tadpole waiting to grow. The pond was full of other creatures, but the eggs stayed safe, floating gently among the water plants. After a few days, the eggs began to wiggle. Enzo and his siblings were ready to hatch. They broke free from their jelly shells and swam into the wide, wonderful world of the pond. Enzo was a tiny, wriggly tadpole with a long tail and no legs. He spent his days exploring the water, nibbling on algae, and playing hide and seek with his brothers and sisters. As the days turned into weeks, Enzo noticed something amazing. Little buds started to grow where his legs would be. First, he sprouted his back legs, which helped him swim faster. Then, his front legs appeared, and his tail began to shrink. Enzo was transforming. One day, Enzo looked at his reflection in the water and saw a young frog staring back at him. His tail was almost gone, and his legs were strong and ready to leap. Enzo took a deep breath and hopped onto a lily pad. For the first time, he felt the warm sun on his back and the gentle breeze ruffle his skin. He was no longer a tadpole. He was a frog. Enzo explored the world above the water, discovering the joy of leaping from one lily pad to another and catching tasty insects with his long, sticky tongue. He made new friends with the butterflies and dragonflies that fluttered around the pond. Enzo also learned to sing. At night, he joined the other frogs in a beautiful chorus that echoed through the forest, a song of joy and life. Seasons passed, and Enzo grew bigger and wiser. He remembered his journey from a tiny egg to a playful tadpole, and finally to a strong green frog. One day, Enzo noticed some new jelly-like eggs in the pond. He knew that soon there would be more tadpoles starting their own adventures just like he had. With a happy heart, Enzo sang his loudest, welcoming the new life to the pond. The cycle of life continued, and Enzo was ready to guide the new tadpoles as they began their journey.